Hi, everyone. Welcome to today's webinar, What's New in App Builder Data-Driven Forms Made Easy. This is a long-awaited webinar. We've been talking about this for quite a while. We are very happy to be able to finally announce that a forms builder inside of App Builder is released, and I think you'll be blown away by what we've done. So it is very exciting. My name is Jason Barris. I'm the SVP of Developer Tools here at Infragistics. You can reach me at jasonb@infragistics.com. And our special guest today is Zdravko Kolev, our Manager of Product Development. He manages all of the goodness that you see in App Builder, and I'm excited to have Zdravko on this webinar today. He did a webinar for NGConf, which is the largest Angular conference in the world, maybe a couple months ago, and he got the webinar bug. So he wanted to really show off some of the new features his team has been working on. So welcome, Zdravko. Very excited to have you on the webinar today. So what are we going to talk about? Yes, Form Builder in all caps and bold. We are very excited to finally get this to you. As I mentioned, you're going to see some cool aspects of Form Builder in the demo. Auto-generating forms, modifying components in the form, creating a form from scratch, CRUD capabilities in forms, and of course, generating the app and pushing to GitHub, which is really what we are known for in App Builder, is giving you that production-ready code. And there is a bonus at the end. It's even more awesome than Form Builder, maybe. I don't know. For me, it is, and I think you will love it too. So Zdravko has maybe a 20 or so minute demo, and he'll wrap it up with that. So what we'll do is we'll do the demo. We'll wrap it up with a poll and some final words. So if you're not familiar with App Builder, it helps you design and build apps blazing fast. It's a cloud-based WYSIWYG. All of the components are in the toolbox from our Ignite UI product. Drag and drop, and you create applications, do data binding, routing, navigation, now form building, validation, etc. And then ultimately you can get production ready Angular, Blazor, web components, or React code. If you missed our webinar a couple months ago, we released React code generation. So React is in the stack now. And this is all pushed to GitHub. So you get all the code, and it is an amazing way to accelerate your team's application development. And with something like App Builder, I always like to say we're trying to bring the fun and simplicity of VB6 or a Windows Forms-like experience to web development, which is often error-prone and complex with CSS and layout and theming and all this other stuff. All of that is taken care of by App Builder for you. So you get not only faster app creation, you get beautiful applications as well, less bugs, and definitely you will drive customer satisfaction. So we continue to move App Builder to a more of a no-code from low-code tool. Our goal is to give you more and more features that you don't have to add yourself. So if you needed to maybe add some code from an App Builder app 6 months ago, a year ago, etc., all of that goes away. You are just getting more and more code generated from the product automatically. So this year and last year and the year before, we've been continuously shipping on a monthly basis new features that really drive what you need in your applications. Our goal is to give you everything that you need inside of App Builder so you don't have to write that code yourself. And I think with the Forms Builder, we've done an amazing job on getting one step closer to that. And it kind of ties into the surprise Zdravko is going to show you at the end of his demo as we look to moving towards not only low code, but maybe even no code. So with that, I want to jump right into a demo, give all the time to Zdravko. So Zdravko, take it away.
Thank you, Jason, and hello, everyone. So let's take a look at the form builder and actually see it in action. I'm going to list a few key points of the the presentation that I'm going to just do. First, I'm going to show you how to automatically generate a form, because this is one of the main pillars that we have built within the form. You can create automatically a form by dragging and dropping an endpoint from your data source. After that, we're going to change an existing form controls with different equivalents in order to show you how to you can make your form richer and change different form components as you wish. We're going to create a form manually because this is also user story that we wanted to cover. I'm going to show you an actual CRUD request that is going to update record in our database. And for the last time, I have prepared a small like a surprise to all of you because I think it's going to be very interesting for you to see our latest feature that we have building the last 3 weeks. But yeah, let's not say anything more now. Let's head directly to the demo. We are going to create a new application. Love to start always with one of the existing layouts that we have, especially the side by side one. It's very minimalistic, and I very much like it when we're showcasing a master detail scenarios. Now I'm going to show something very minimalistic. I want to have a list of customers and update these customers with the form that we're going to demonstrate now. So let's start directly with the list. I'm adding a list. You know that you can iterate through a data source, and something new that we have. Now we do provide our Nordwind Swagger as part of the default items within your data source panel. Before, you had to actually go here and copy the Swagger definition and paste it within the app builder in order to add it as a data source. But now you can use it as a default one. Here it is, Nordwind Swagger. So I'm heading over here. I'm going to find the Northwind Swagger one. I know there is a customers get the endpoint. I'm using it, and I'm going to head over to bind an actual title and subtitle of the list. I'm going to use a customer ID and a company name. I don't want the action icon, and for the avatar itself, I want to be of type initials, and for a value of the initials to use the customer ID. I'm going to also change a little bit the layout here because you can see that now I have a side scroll bar here, and I have all the list items displayed. So I'm going to head over to here and set the actual column layout to be wrapping one and the overflow to be auto. And now you can see that the scroll bar is actually on this side, and I have this one freed up for everything else that I want to add as a layout components. And this is going to be the cherry in the cake, which is the form. Here this, I just picked up a form from the Control E shortcut. The first message that you're going to get a great designer form. You can drop a post or put endpoint from a data source toolbox to auto-generate and add the components manually. And this is actually what we're going to do. I'm heading over to the Northwind Swagger, and because I know there is a put and post requests from the actual form, I'm going to say, perfect, this is going to be the put request that is going to update my customers. But wait a second. I didn't want to go directly for a form because I want to have a split view of the form that I'm going to use to create a record and the form that I'm going to use to actually edit a record. So this is why I'm heading for a tab layout. You can see that the tab layout actually have two tabs, which are default ones. I'm going to pick the form and drag it within the first label, which label tab, which is going to be, let's put a name on it. It's going to be modify. Perfect. The second one is going to be create. Perfect. And here for the modify, I have an edit customer. If I go to preview the app so far, you can see that nothing is happening. I don't have a dynamically changing form or anything else. So in order to make it actually more dynamic and to add some functionality to it, I'm going to use our feature, which is the variables feature. You know that the variables helping to actually are helping to actually pass state and make everything dynamic. In order to do that, I'm going to head to the form properties and see what do I have. I can pick a form name. I can set a form name. I can pick an action on submit. This is already pre-picked for me because I am automatically generating the form by dragging and dropping an endpoint. I have the customer's put endpoint and I have an initial value. So if I go for the initial value, this is the initial value of the form. I want this value to be the selection from the list that I do. In order to do this, I'm going to create a variable which is going to be selected customer. I know that is going to be from a type customer. And now we do have a variable which is going to store our selected customer. But in order to set this variable, we need to add a list interaction, which is going to be set variable interaction. The variable that we want to set will be the select customer. The value that we want to set will be the actual data context, which is going to be the picked customer. So let's see whether we have something. And yes, you can see that I'm picking the first item, which is off key. And here is the second one. I can pick the second item, the third item, which is Anton, and so on. And you see that the form is loading with the picked customer data. So let's now go and add a create form, a form that is going to handle the create requests. Again, I'm heading over to the endpoint that is going to serve me that purpose, and this is going to be the post customers endpoint. Here it is. Now I do have an edit customer endpoint and an add customer endpoint. So far, everything looks good, but is it actually making any changes? Let's actually try that. Let's go and say, okay, for the first customer, I want to change the company name to be my custom company name. Let's say, okay, update, and you'll see a very beautiful snack bar here saying, okay, your changes have been submitted successfully. How we can actually test whether our database has been updated. I have loaded, I'm using a Postman in order to track that, and I have loaded our schema within as a collection within Postman. This is how it's named, Northwind CRUD. And if I head over to the get endpoint here, and if I click send in order to perform the request, you can actually see now that the company name for Aufkey customer is my customer company name, which means that we are actually making the CRUD requests. This is only for modifying a customer. The same thing will happen for the create. We can actually try it as well. Let's add some custom. Let's add a customer. My customer company name. Actually, let's leave that blank because I want to show you something. I'm going to fill everything else for the sake of the demo. And you can see here that we do have a validation. We do have a validation which is saying, which is pointing me, hey, the company name is actually a required field. Why we know that? Because we get that from the Swagger schema definition. We know that the field which is corresponding for the company name is required, and we're showing that within the app builder. So I'm going to set a company name as well. I'm going to click add. A new submission was saved successfully. Perfect. Let's see whether that is true. I'm going to head over here to the collection and see that the last customer is actually this one. I won't pronounce it because for me it's kind of hard, but let's head over to sending a request to get all customers and head over to the last one. Perfect. We have a customer. Interesting. Now I remember that the actual customer ID field, which is part of the database, is auto-generated. So this is why we get a customer ID, which is auto-generated from the actual data layer. Great. What we have seen now, we saw how to create on automatically a form. We showed the CRUD capabilities. We showed how to create a record with a create form. And the next part of the demo would be to actually talk about more talk more about the actual form components. I'm going to use the release block that we have for that purpose, because we have a very beautiful section here listing all the form controls that you can use within your form, from radio groups to switch, slider, select. Select. This is one of my favorite components, by the way, and I will use it in a bit. Calendar input field, everything from that list you can use within the form, because it gives you editing capabilities. So when it comes to editing a form, often we don't want to know all the countries that are available, and we tend to create a collection of countries, incorporate it within our application, and use it as a default data source. And this is actually what I'm going to show you. I'm going to swap this input with a select, which is going to show me a list of countries. So I'm hiding this input for now, and I'm going for Control E and asking to add a select. Here is the select. For the sake of the demo, I have created a collection of countries. Here it is. It consists with a lot of countries here. The full list can be found within this link. And I'm going to head over to add it as a new list. I'm going to add a URL. Select data, done. And now head over to my select and configure it. I will pick the item, we'll iterate each of the elements, and here I'm going to go and find my new countries list, bind it to the result, and here for the content I will say get me the name of the country, and for the value I'm also going to use the name. Within the select itself, for value I will pick the address country field, because this is the underlying value that I want to have the two-way binding for. If I load a customer with a particular country, I want this country to be initially loaded within the select component. Let's see whether that is working in action. So here, yes, I have the select. I have all the countries, but nothing is selected for me. If I go for Alfki, the first customer, I see Germany. If I go for Anton, I see Mexico. So this is what the underlying data field is actually giving me, Mexico. So let's see whether the CRUD is also working here, because we have the two-way data binding in place. For the Alfki, I'm going to say he will be from Albania. Let's make an update. Your update has been successful, and as always, let's head over to Postman, create a new request, and here for Alfki, I will hope to have country Albania, and I do. So this is very briefly showing how to actually swap components within your form. As I said, the list is part of the block and our official technical documentation. You can use any of the components that are listed there and actually make your form richer. I actually promised to show you a way how to create an empty form. So let's head over here, and you can see that I have a blank form. If I pick the blank form and head over to the properties, you see I have a name, again on submit action, and initial value, which is going to be set depending on whether you are modifying a record or you are adding a new one. But yeah, within here, imagine the form as a canvas. You can do whatever you want here. You can actually add a select. You can actually add an input. You can even mark them and add them as part of a row layout. I mean, you can do whatever you want, and you can place everything within the form as you wish to be placed. So let's say I want this centered and to be space between. Um, Here you can also add a button, and for example, this button, because the action buttons that are added by adding a form automatically from an endpoint, uh, we set them the type to be submit or reset, depending on the action that the button should perform. But here you should manually set it. Okay, I want this button to be uh, a submit button. If I want the same for the reset, I have to add a new button, which is going to be with a reset action. So yeah, you get the point. If you head over for the user story of creating a form manually, you should manually create the whole experience um, around the form. Um, this is why it's way easier and more convenient to actually use the automatic form generation, but it depends on your purpose. Sometimes one makes sense, this approach makes sense, and the other times the manual approach makes better sense. So that was with the manual creation. Something interesting that I want to show also is that depending um, depending on the fields that you have within your data schema, uh, you can um, you can get different default form components. So imagine if we pick a richer endpoint. I know for sure that the orders endpoint is very rich on fields, and you can see here that it actually has input fields which are from with numeric type. It has date pickers. It has checkboxes. It has the string input fields. I mean, it has this variety of types, and basically we automatically get down that from the data schema, and we interpret them for you for your convenience in order to have a robust form building experience. So yeah, I believe that was the that these were the main pillars of the form. You can go over to the blog post here with the release. What's actually next with the form builder? We are going to work on more on a rich validation. Currently, we do have validation for required fields, and very soon we are going to add for mean and maximum values for regular expressions, for any type of validation that you can think of, and that the HTML form is providing out of the box. And this is actually what we're going to build next when we speak about the form. So, without further ado, I'm going to head over to the surprise that I was talking you about. So I'm going to head to our preview app builder environment, which, as I said already to you, is like our staging environment when we place all of the features that we have ready to be released very soon. I'm going to pick from the existing sample applications, and actually I'm going to add create an app based on the new US elections application that we have created. Um, what is the interesting thing here? Imagine that you're building an application and you don't want to just generate the code for that application and have it locally on your end, or to just publish it on GitHub and ask someone to like take the code, deploy it somewhere, because the goal that you have upon building an application is to showcase it, or you want to just have it deployed somewhere in order to be a fully functional application. Because nowadays I see a lot of colleagues and people that are actually using the app builder to create these applications that are going to actually show a real use case, and they want it deployed somewhere, but they don't want to go through Azure or AWS or any of the paid services out there, and they want to use GitHub Actions in order to do that. So this was the surprise that I was preparing for you guys. We have exposed a new functionality, which is the ability to publish your application within GitHub, which we already had, and actually have it deployed and available as a short GitHub IO URL. So I'm going to add a webinar app deploy, and I'm going to create a repository out of it. I'm using an existing application in order to save time. Here it is. Deploy to GitHub Pages. Enable this option to deploy a live app on GitHub Pages from the code in your repository main branch. So basically, I'm going to click this checkbox. publish, and this is what you have within 2 clicks, which is one extra click compared to the previous version that we had. You will actually be able to deploy a new application in GitHub, and this application will be available publicly. Once the repository is actually ready, you will get a link, but it takes some time in order for GitHub to actually deploy the changes. If you head over to done and you get back to the publish UI that we have for GitHub, you will see this beautiful mark here, which is saying, okay, the deployment process is actually in progress, because this is something that depends on GitHub, and this is an indication that will give you an information when the actual deploy is completed. Sometimes it takes a minute, sometimes it takes longer, but if you want to, here it is. I just refreshed everything. So if I now head over to the deployed page, you can see here now under my GitHub initials, GitHub IO webinar app deploy, you have the application. So here your application will actually live, and you can access it anytime you want. This is why I was so excited to actually show off this new functionality, because it's really valuable, and I believe you are going to enjoy it. And that was actually everything from me. Check out the forum, give us feedback, anything that you think is going to be worth sharing with us. We are here to always listen, and we're here to make your user experience better, and to actually help you build robust, rich applications, and to make the whole process enjoyable for you. So yeah, thank you all for everything, and see you next time. And I'm giving back the word to Jason. Thank you, Jason.
Okay, that was incredible. I can't believe we have all that stuff now. It's so exciting. Even I work with the product team, and I'm so happy to see this, because we've been really wanting this and getting your feedback for so long to get form building, and then being able to deploy an application directly to GitHub. So your application in App Builder is now directly deployable. That is incredible. So thanks, Ravco. Thank you to the team for making that possible. As you can see, the poll popped up. So please answer the poll questions. Of course, everything you give us feedback on goes right into the product. Everything we do is based on your feedback. So please take some time and answer the poll. So your next steps: get App Builder today. Sign up at, I didn't update my URL here. The URL is actually appbuilder.dev. So that's our new URL. We shipped it earlier this year. We have a playlist up on GitHub and at appbuilder.dev, the release blog that Zdravko just showed you. And actually, I want to bring that up really quick. So here, if I pop this guy up, you'll see that we've got a ton of blogs. So the reason I wanted to bring this up is not only to show you the correct URL, but you'll see here all of the blogs that we are pushing out. So I know a lot of people were excited about a React Cogen. We did that. There's a bunch of different articles here. You can see Katie is on fire with content, but pages and pages of good stuff, how-tos, documentation, etc. And then, of course, the blog that Zdravko mentioned in his demo, and he actually kind of walked through it, was the form builder. And if I go back to page 2, looks like the header changes too. So this is another actual awesome feature that we need to do a webinar on. That's remote paging. So in App Builder, what you could always do is bind to your data, and of course the pager was built in. But what if you have a lot of data on the server, like tens of thousands of rows or hundreds of thousands or millions of rows? You want to do remote paging. That's fully supported in App Builder. So check out the blogs, check out all the product updates, tons of good stuff there for you to learn. But with that, I want to thank you, and we really want you to start trying App Builder today. Get back 80% of your dev time. check out appbuilder.dev. I want to thank Zdravko and the team for being online, answering all your questions. You will get a follow-up email with a link to the webinar, the recorded webinar, as well as the slide deck tomorrow from marketing. But with that, I want to thank you guys again. Thank you for another great year. And picking up next year in January, we'll be doing bi-weekly and monthly webinars on different topics for App Builder. And we're going to do it in a couple different formats. We're going to have like 15-minute purely demo webinars, and then some 30-minute ones like this where there's a little bit of slides, but mostly demo. We really want to start doing more technical content because there's a lot to learn in App Builder, and there's a lot of things that we want to show you. So with that, thanks everyone. Have a great holiday season. Thanks again, Zdravko, and we will see you next year at the next webinar.